This video is a little different from the usual ones I make, but once I saw Filmento make a playlist about some excruciating scenes from Fox Marvel movies, I thought, why not? Could be fun. Could really suck too, though. But you know what they say, beauty is in the eye of...
Fuckhead!
That was supposed to say behold... And anyway, let's talk about X-Men The Last Stand. I'll be separating this into 3 parts to better illustrate why this film just didn't work. Now, outside of the story, I do think the film can be a good time. However, it's hard to ignore these problems once you notice them. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. Some of the characters in the first 3 X-Men films start to have a reduced role. Some just not even appearing or receiving a mention. Why isn't Colossus given a bigger role throughout the series? How come Nightcrawler isn't in The Last Stand? Why does Rogue practically disappear outside a cameo or 2? Is that supposed to be Psylocke or not? And that's not getting into how wasted this character was. Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men in the comics, right? Because I don't get that feeling with it in any of the films. Especially this one, because, well, you know. Wolverine proved to be the more popular character, and that's fine. What is not fine is that other characters get the short end of the stick due to said popularity and mess up character dynamics and audience engagement, so to speak. Cyclops deserved more screen time and relevancy in the plot. Not just in this film, but the one before this one as well. Jean was Scott's fiancée, not Logan's. The amount of characters in this movie, and you can't even build a deep connection to half of them because they're barely there.
What the fuck is this? Whose ass didn't I kiss?
X-Men The Last Stand adapts not 1, but 2 story arcs from the comics. The Gifted arc from Astonishing X-Men, and the Dark Phoenix saga from Uncanny X-Men 129. The problem is not because they decided to adapt 2 comic arcs into the film. No, the problem is how they're handled. Instead of taking elements from both comics to craft a story worthy of either one, it's like they just stacked 2 film plots together and said, hey, let's make an X-Men movie out of this.
You need to shut the fuck up!
One plot is about a cure for mutants and how that affects every mutant, including the Brotherhood in the X-Men. The other is a cheaper retelling of Jean's transformation into the Phoenix and how dangerous she'll be if left to her own devices. The film is 1 hour and 44 minutes. That ain't enough time to cover both storylines sufficiently. Each plot doesn't get the time it needs in order to flesh out big or small details. This is what happens when you try to cram 2 stories together, side by side, and have either of them really feed into each other.
Bitch, I'm on fire!
This last bit might seem a bit unnecessary, but I think it's worth talking about regardless. Couldn't Magneto just use the fucking Golden Gate Bridge and drop it on Alcatraz since all he wanted to do was kill the kid who the cure was created from? He could, but he decided just to use it to get across along with the rest of the Brotherhood. Maybe a cure for mutants could have been used on Jean potentially, and in order to stop her from annihilating everyone. But that doesn't even get explored as a possibility. Rogue's dilemma with her powers could have made the storyline involving the cure a bit better, since there's a connection of sorts. However, the movie is only 104 minutes, and they don't have enough time to do all that. So, they have her take the cure, and all is well and good. Like I've stated before, X-Men The Last Stand is a fun movie, but it is not a good one. The acting, in my opinion, is fine, and the fights are just as good as they've always been. But the 2 different plots, lack of certain characters, too much focus on other characters, and just overall direction really makes this one of the worst X-Men films. Which is the worst? I leave in your hands.
Of course it depends. Of course it depends.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Of course it depends.